WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting often rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have Dingle, Single Cask, Germany exclusive from Kirsch Import, Port Cask. Ooh. All right, so this is Whiskybase 224407. This was distilled on the 19th of November 2014, and it was bottled on the 2nd of September 2022. It just hit the shelves over here in Germany at the beginning of January. 7-year-old, full maturation port, 312 bottles with 59.6% ABV. The price is basically 155 euros. All right, so I'm going to pour this in here, give it a little bit of time to breathe, and then talk about the whiskey I'm going to compare it to, which is going to be Dingle, Single Cask, Germany exclusive, Pedro Jimenez, PX Cask. So this is Whiskybase 211363. Now the interesting thing is they actually put this out also for 155 euros originally, and so they kept the price. Well done, Kirsch, or well done, Dingle, or well done, whoever. This is, did I say Whiskybase? Whiskybase number 211363. And this has 59.7. This is 59.6. This is 8 years old. This is 7 years old. This is Pedro Jimenez, full maturation. This is port. Tawny, ruby, just says port. All right, good. This was distilled in January 2014. To be exact, on the 17th. This was on 19th of November 2014. This was bottled, as I said already, on the 2nd of September, and this was bottled on the 10th of February, both 2022. All right, so I thoroughly enjoyed this bottle of Dingle PX. For my fans, it was the #1 bottle for Germany in 2022 from Ireland. For me, it was actually in the top 5. We had very different opinions of what should be the best whiskeys, but that has something to do with availability and so on. Now, I am a fan of Dingle. Dingle, as I've said every single time I've done a video in the last 3 years, I think, is the reason I have a YouTube channel in English. I had done videos in German for almost 2 years, and then I noticed I was reviewing products, a lot from Ireland back then, that had no English videos at all. And so it's like, okay, at the very beginning, my rule of thumb was if no one else had done a video in English, I would do it. And so there was a lot of Dingle products at the beginning. Now my rule of thumb is everything I do in German, I do in English. All right, so I'm building up my channel and my reputation and my library of videos here as well. Now, if you take a look at these these two things, you do see a little bit of a brown and you see a little bit of a red character there. Port versus Pedro Jimenez. Now, I thoroughly enjoyed this bottle. Yummy, yummy to my tummy. I forgot to pull something out. Each and every box has this nice little card in there. So the boxes are all the same except for the label here. And so, which is good, I just love the fact that each and every box does say non-chilled filtered, no color added. Very, very good. I did call them out a few times, and they have now, Dingle made sure that they put that on every single bottle and every single box that we whiskey geeks want to have that. Now, this little card here says, and I'm just going to read, this single cask release matured in a port cask. Would like to know what type of port, Tawny or ruby, but that's okay. Specially selected by master distiller Graham Cole, has been exclusively bottled for Kirsch Import. Now, Graham, I first met at the Whiskey Live Dublin in the fall of 2019. Now, he started at Dingle in October 2019. I think I met him November. So he's been there now for over 3 years. The guy's doing great things. One day my interview with him will come online as well. Wonderful. Before that, he was the distillery manager at Glenmoray, M-O-R-A-Y. Over 14 years he was there, did a great job. He was a master distiller, master blender. And before that, he had spent over 11 years with William Grant's son, being the distillery manager of Glenfiddich, Balvenie, and Kininvie distilleries there. So he went from William Grant's son over to Glenmory, then over to Dingle. I'm sure if I were him, I would stay there for another 10 years, and at the very end of my career, he's about my age, then I would actually, for the last 10 years, more of a consultancy role, help other distilleries and so on. We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll live and die there in Ireland, in Dingle. He is from Scotland. Who knows if the grandkids kind of pull you in a certain direction. My own experience. All right, so as no two casks are the same, every single cask whiskey from Dingle Distillery is a unique and singular expression which can never be replicated. Okay, the original role of this cask in the maturation of port is reflected in the color, aroma, character, and above all, taste of this single malt Irish whiskey. Now, I'm going to call out the guys from Bourbon Pursuit. They do their quickie, and they said, at least Kenny says all the time, I can tell if a whiskey's good or not in half a second. Now, what I do is I do a bottle share, which means 5cl belongs to me, 65%, 65 CLs go to other people. That's how I can finance my channel and keep on having all these bottles come up here every second day or every day that I can just do this. In German, every day I do a video. All right, and so therefore I buy the bottle, I do the bottle share, I fill it up, send out the samples to people in Germany. And so I actually had filled 2 of these samples up, and just today I filled up 5cl for someone else. I use a funnel, of course, and then that was the last thing I did today before I did this video. I put my finger under the funnel, so there was a drop of this whiskey on my finger. And I put the funnel back into its holder, and I licked my finger. And it was like, uh-oh. It was at half a second, uh-oh. And then I smelled the bottle and was like, uh-oh. Now, I like Dingle. This was in the top 3 best whiskeys, Irish whiskeys that I had and that people in the community in Germany had in 2022. It's fabulous. This is dark, old sherry. This is beautiful. Pedro Jimenez, raisins, leather, a little bit of nuttiness. Goodness. This is something I could smell and enjoy literally for an hour. Now, going over here to the port, I'm getting a little bit of sulfur. Uh-oh. That bothers me. I do get some fruit. I do get some plums, is what I'm going to call it. Red plum, cranberries, a little bit of a light raspberry moment on the nose. But I'm getting a little bit of sulfur. And that sulfur, I'm oversensitive to sulfur. I have no idea if Graham Cole is sulfur sensitive or not. Some people it's literally a genetic thing. Some people are sulfur sensitive and some aren't. Some are sulfur blind. And if you are sulfur blind, sorry for us that are sulfur hypersensitive or sensitive. Now, what's great is 90, sorry, my dyslexia, 59.7 versus 59.6. The alcohol does not burn. Oh, this has such a leather, nutty raisin moment. It's so good. This is dialed down a lot more. This has a lot more flavor that pops out at you. This is a little bit, I could say weird, or I could say unique. Now, single barrels are, I'm going to call it a lottery game. You can have an excellent single barrel that absolutely hits your wheelhouse, and you can have a single barrel that's unique and different and absolutely not what you're looking for. And that's what I have here. All right. So, just a word of warning. This is not my wheelhouse. I love port. I love great port matured whiskeys. I have some of the best whiskeys I've had from Ireland were full maturation, usually coulis, distillate, 10, 12, 14 years of age. Oh, that was so good. I'd have some Teeling Single Cask Port that would blow your socks off, or some independently bottled Germany Lichtburg that were just so fabulous. But this is a little bit of a funkiness. This is weird. This is strange. This is unique. Now, that's what you're going for in a single cask, but unfortunately that sulfur moment, think matches, yeah, camping matches, really bothers me. Not rotten eggs, but matches. So sulfite. Cheers. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Goes downhill. Now, this is, as I'm going to use the word funky, this is unique, this is weird, this is out there in left field. The alcohol, the 59.7%, 59.6%, sorry, is not the problem. The problem is the flavor profiles that are given to me through this whiskey. There is the red currant, there is the red plum, there is a little bit of raspberry going on there. But I'm going to read the official tasting notes, and I'm going to tell you something that really was this aha moment for me. So, on the back of that card, there's tasting notes. It says here, I never read the tasting notes on this one when I did my video. Shame on me. Single cask, tasting notes. On the nose, you will have notes of strawberry jam, a little bit of strawberry, yes. Marzipan, didn't get that. Sherbet. What flavor of sherbet? All right, caramel tart and fruit chutney. Have you had chutney? Now, chutney is one of those things that is a little bit difficult for me to define. So, according to Google, chutney is made from fruit, vegetables, and or herbs with vinegar, sugar, and spice. It's used to provide balance to an array of dishes or highlight a specific flavor profile. Broadly, the word chutney is now applied to anything preserved in sugar and vinegar, regardless of its texture, ingredient, or consistency. So, yeah, vinegar. Something's weirdly different going on here that does not jive with me. I've had a few different types of chutneys, and some of them I've worked fabulously with the dish that's been combined with, and other times it's been like, no, thank you. Not my thing, and more often than not my thing, and so not my thing. Now the single cask release delights the taste buds with spice pears. I must admit, I don't think I've ever had spice pears. Red berries fruit compote. We've had that over in Germany a lot. A little bit of that bitterness, tartness as well. Hints of ginger. Also a little bit of heat there, and apricots and peach on the finish. The texture is soft. Totally agree. It's got a great mouthfeel, great texture there. With cinnamon spice, dried fruit, crushed hazelnuts, and dark chocolate, which I did not get any of. One of my theories, and it might be totally wrong, is this cask we buy. For example, I worked with a distillery in Ireland, and they were brand new, and I bought a cask, and I said, hey, I want a full maturation port. And so they bought a port cask from Portugal, of course, where it has to be made from. The casks were delivered up into the distillery, and they rejected the casks because the casks had gone bad. And I was like, are you sure? They were like, Jason, we're sure. I have the theory, and I might be 1000% off, but sorry, this cask had not gone bad, but it wasn't far away from it. I'm getting a little bit of like a bad wood moment towards the end. I'm getting a little bit of that vinegar weirdness going on there. Chutney. This is unique. I'm sure there's going to be people out there that love it, but it's just not my wheelhouse. I'm giving this whiskey, as much as it hurts me to say this, a D. Value for money. Why did I pay 155 euros for this? It's an F for value for money for me. This The PX, the Pedro Jimenez. I've recommended this to so many people. Buy this blind. If you can find this at a price of, which is fair, 155. There are some places online that have for 170 now, 190. It's still worth the money almost for me. It's so delicious. I love this. But that's the lottery game of single casks, especially if you're using one's Pedro Jimenez, one's port, and so on. To use the words here of Dingle, it says here, every single cask whiskey from Dingle Distillery is a unique and singular expression which can never be replicated. Yeah, unfortunately, I'd love to have some more of this. That's so good. Try this. Cheers. mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. Day and night. Jekyll and Hyde. Wow. Same look, same design, same place. Totally, totally different experience. My question for you in America is you have the possibility to have store picks. Now, you've had store picks maybe of an Eagle Rare or a Buffalo Trace or a Wilderness Trail or a New Riff or I don't know what other types of store picks you've had there. There are so many out there, store picks. Have you, Four Roses and so many. Have you had this experience that the one time it was like divine and the next time it's like, oh, who can I give this to that does not know that much about whiskey, that he'll just mix it with a Coke and be happy with it? Single barrels are really, really something that you have to trust the person that picked them, right? And if you had that same experience with same store pick, not same store, same brand, different picks, and night and day. Tell me about your experience of that and how you deal with that. How do you do that? How do you get around that? How do you figure out which bottles to buy, which models do you not buy because of the store picks? Or was one of your strategies just to steer away from store picks? We'll see what happens there. All right, this beautiful B+, A- at this moment, D+ on a good day. Let's go for D+ and value for money. Sorry, absolutely not worth my money at this moment. But hey, the magic of single barrels. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing. And Graham, if you ever watch this, so sorry. Wonderful, just not my wheelhouse. Bye-bye.